I was desperately looking for a job. I got my first job. It was an internship job. It even put the details, not knowing that I was going to be interviewed by one of the biggest corporate trainers in the market then. And I worked with him for 6 months. But working with him changed my perspective of work. Working with him gave me the insight that it was wise to choose a boss and not necessarily a job when you're starting out. What a rich man calls value is different from what a poor man calls value. So if you're trying to build authentic connections, you need to first discover the gaps, because value is about plugging gaps. The world is learning every day. The day the world stops learning, the world stops evolving. And I have learned that true learning lies in your ability to know what not to learn. For my first transition into L&D, I went for the job. The HR told me, you're just a trainer. Said, this job is not for you, that you cannot do that, you're just a trainer. My major challenge has been the gaps of skills and knowledge that I did not have for certain opportunities that came my way. But missing those opportunities taught me how to be resilient enough to learn from them and not to be angry with the people that said no to me.
Hello everyone, my name is Abisola. We meet here.
Gabriel Balogun, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I've known Gabriel since, so even if his LinkedIn know it, but I've known him for a while. So we're just going to start briefly with a rapid fire question. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Less than 1 second, so
Okay.
don't think about it.
I will try not to.
Name me 4-letter word that starts with the letter B.
Ball.
Okay, what's the best non-curse word, one word insult? Wait, what's the best non-curse one word insult? It's an insult, but it's a non-curse word.
Bougie.
What's your favorite type of music?
Men's Afrobeat.
Describe your style in one word.
Elegant. Yeah, elegant.
Okay, it's nice meeting you, Mr. Gabriel.
It is.
Okay, so we are just going to move briefly to the story. So Gabriel with us here is an expert in L&D. So can you share us your journey? Like, just tell us about your story so far, you know?
All right, so I've had to transition from being a teacher to a trainer to an L&D professional. And while they sound very similar, there are three different career paths. So
Sorry. What's the meaning of L&D? Because I'm sure most of the people here, they don't even know.
All right,
what
so L&D is learning and development.
Okay.
Right, so a teacher is someone whose primary job is to impart knowledge. That's where it ends. They have a curriculum within an educational system where they impart knowledge. A trainer, on the other hand, his job is to build competencies. So competencies are a combination of knowledge, skills, and behaviors. And a trainer's job is to build those competencies to allow you perform a certain job. So maybe as a baker, there are competencies you must have.
Yeah.
As a pastor, there are competencies you must have, right? That's why there are a lot of training schools. And then, but the L&D professional, the learning and development professional, his job is to take both teaching principles and training principles, merge them together, and use it to help organizations meet their goals.
Oh, okay.
Right, so while the other two don't necessarily work with businesses, and a learning and development professional's goal, his day-to-day job, is to take those methodologies and principles that trainers and teachers use, add a bit of extra things to allow organizations meet their goals. So for customer support, for instance, we'll do our job to allow customer support meet customer support goals for the business, for sales goals, for every department's goals. That's why there is a learning and development system. So that's like, so I've had to transition through those three things. And it's a very long story. I'm not sure there's enough time to share it.
Just tell us a bit, like we are
All right, so
curious to know.
I remember that I went on IT and I was, going on IT, you'll be excited, I've left school, I'm going to see the real world. And I realized that people were doing heavy lifting job and we're getting paid peanuts.
True.
And I told myself, I said, this is really what I want to do. These guys are graduates too. And if I don't change, I will end up like this. So it dawned on me that I needed to find a skill there's a whole story to me even discovering that skill. But I needed to find something, a competence that would allow me earn in millions. And so I set a goal that in 10 years, I wanted to be in charge of training. I didn't even know it was L&D. I just said I wanted to be in charge of an organization's teaching, training, just helping their people learn
So you've
skills.
always been passionate about teaching, training.
Yeah, from day one, right?
Okay.
And in 10 years after school, after service, I wanted that goal for a big organization. But then 5 years, I wanted that same goal for a smaller organization. So what I did was I reversed engineered who that kind of person is, and the skills that they need, and the connections that they need to have, and the things they need to know, and decided to start growing myself on those skills. So I went back to school for my final year, and I started with the most basic level, which is teaching. So I started teaching my colleagues in school, especially in my fellowship in church, right? How to prepare for interviews, how to write CVs. So employability skills literally was what I was teaching them. And then during my service here, I had an opportunity to start teaching more people. So I left immediate surroundings and started doing training. So I moved from a teacher to a trainer. I started teaching certain skills, certain competencies, and all of that. And I got my first job. It was an internship job with one of the, if I mention his name, I'm sure your audience will know about Arak, his name was one of the biggest names in sales, right? And I joined him as an intern. I worked with him for a couple of months.
We want all the tea.
So I met him. I was desperately looking for a job, but a job in that career path.
Okay.
Because I'd set the goal. And I saw many other jobs. It just didn't work.
Okay.
So I was on Facebook, and I'd connected with several people on Facebook who were always responding to posts. It was not bans. There was a time it was so popular on Facebook, when Facebook was like LinkedIn now, where people would drop inspirational content and people would just comment and post. So I was so active there that there was this friend I met, online friend, and he posted a job. He didn't even put the details. I just chatted him up and said, please, I like this job. You know my guy, I go call the person. He just told the person and submitted my name and said, this guy is my friend, he will do it. And that's how I got an invitation. Not knowing that I was going to be interviewed by one of the biggest corporate trainers in the markets then. And I worked with him for 6 months. But working with him changed my perspective of work. So working with him gave me the insight that it was wise to choose a boss and not necessarily a job when you're starting out. Because if you get the right boss, you automatically have a mentor and a coach for free, right? So after him, I decided to start picking the people that I will work with up until my first 5-year goal. And I did that, worked with like 4 other big names before finally ending up at Utiva as academic director. So when I joined Utiva, it was my 5th year, and I was in charge of education and trainings and curriculum development. So I'd met my 5-year goal.
Wow.
Just because I stayed true to the path. I need to add Mumu Garigon. Like I suffered because that's when you are passionate about a certain path. You would forgo every other thing. There were other jobs that came up, but I was like, no, this is what I wanted to do, right? So I stayed at home for 6 months, 8 months. The good news was that I learned how to make clothes. So I was having small money. Not enough money to move out of my parents' house, but enough money to keep body and soul while I chased my official career path. And then I did Utiva, did a couple of other companies, and by my 7th year, I had met my 10th year goal. So my 7th year, I think it's my 8th year now. By my 7th year, I was made head of learning and development in my current company, which is a big company, by the way.
He doesn't want to say the name, but go and check his LinkedIn.
Right, and so I met my 10-year goal in 7 years, and so that's like my career journey. And I'm still going there. The remaining 3 years will be used to achieve another goal, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
I've literally just been very
Strategic.
I think I didn't even know it was strategy. I just knew that I was hyper specific about what I wanted. And then I asked myself, this person that I want to become, what do they need to know? What do they need to know how to do? What are the people they need to know?
Need to meet.
Right? And then I just built that career Maybe it's now that we call it career path.
Career
Then it was
path.
just, now this is good, this is what we are chasing. Right, so that's like my story.
I think you've even answered my next question. It was going to be like some of the early experiences that pushed you.
I mean, but you could pick on any of the things I've said and I can explain more.
That sparked your interest in learning and development. I think for me, right, I was more particular about how you met these people, right? Because when you look at it, people now, they know, most at least a large percentage, right, know what they want, but the problem is they don't exactly know how to. So now, like you've mentioned that, you have to like pick, like you've envisioned it, you now to now know who to work with is something that is very critical. You know, meeting those people can be very daunting, especially, I know there is LinkedIn, but really if you don't know how to maximize platforms like that, you won't be able to. So let's move to how you move from.
Well, let me say something about meeting people.
Yeah.
So there's this training I do with my friend Alex Oyebadi called Social Alchemy.
Oh, okay.
I think we're holding another one before the end of the quarter, so I can share with you when that comes out, and you can share with your audience, guys. But it's not free. But one of the things I teach in that class, my session is called Build to Last.
Oh, okay.
Which is about building authentic connections. And the secret is nobody denies value.
True.
But this is where it gets tricky. Value is different for people. The value that what a rich man calls value is different from what a poor man calls value.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to build authentic connections, you need to first discover the gaps. Because value is about plugging gaps. So you need to discover the gap in that person's life, then plug that gap, and by plugging that gap, you would bridge that gap, and that's how you sustain relationships. So if you come to me today and say, GB, I want you to mentor me and all of that, I literally tell people every day that I don't have the space for mentorship, right? What I do is, even you can be my prodigy, but I will not chase you. You'd have to chase me, right? Because there's so much I'm doing. But the smart ones know that this guy is a speaker. If I can attend all his speaking engagements and take notes for him, he can convert those notes into teaching manuals, and I can give that to him. You've plugged the gap in my life. There's no how I would go for my next training and not invite you.
Already told them the next step. If you get plenty to
somebody's already doing that, right? But there's no how I will go for my next event and I won't call you.
Yeah.
You've plugged the gap, so you are valuable to me now. So you don't have to lobby to get my attention. You've gotten my attention.
Yeah, true.
And I did that to get my first coach without having to pay a dime. My first ever mentor. That's how I got his attention. Remember I said I used to do something about fashion. So I noticed he used to go for events. And what I did was I created a style manual for him. Clothes that he could wear for his events, clothes that match his skin tone, the kind of haircut, glasses, all those things. The man was stunned. And he became my mentor. Officially, unofficially, right? And then I showed up at all his events. I was always there to serve. I would sell books for him. I would do all of those things. I would stand. I would just come, right? And by doing that, my face became known to him. So I was not just a guy again on it was BBM then, on BBM or WhatsApp stalking him. It was a guy that I've communicated with. I mean, now he's my coach. He has moved from being a mentor to a coach, because now I've paid him for coaching, and he has coached me in business and career and life, right? And so he's my coach and part of his community. But it started as far back as 2014.
Wow.
Right? So that's how you build relationships. That's how you gain value.
Now let's move into L&D a bit, right?
Okay.
I know you've explained it. What would you say that is like one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in your journey as an L&D director?
I think that the world is learning every day. The day the world stops learning, the world stops evolving. And that means that for you to survive in a world that is consistently learning, you need to learn how to learn. You need to become adaptable, and you become adaptable by learning. The chameleon is adaptable because the chameleon learns to change color with its environment. So it learns to sync with the environment. And I see that a lot of individuals are still archaic. You're applying for a job with the same kind of CV. You're applying for roles that the bare minimum cannot get you in anymore. I see people submit portfolios and it's just bland and boring. You're not doing anything to stand forward, not even stand out now, but stand forward to say, choose me, I'm the right candidate. So every time I get to interact with people, I always try to help them see that you need to be learning. You need to keep evolving. And I have learned that true learning lies in your ability to know what not to learn. So learning is really a skill of omission. You have to know what you want so that you know what not to learn. Or else you'll be filled with so much information that is not valuable. So somebody that needs to learn how to bake bread do not need to concern themselves with how to make chin-chin yet. You just want to know how to make bread. So focus on that. And then when you're done learning how to make bread, you can make other things. I'm trying not to use a lot of organizational terms so that the audience can also pick it. But it's as simple as that. Apply that across boards, in family, in relationships, in faith, anything. Right? So that's what I've learned.
Have you ever had any challenges, like in your journey?
I told you that, Momu Gary. Hey, God.
What was?
I stayed at home after NYSC, I stayed at home for 6 months because I wanted a job in training and development. And then I connected with my first boss. And then after him, I stayed at home for another 5 months before I got my next boss. Because then I wasn't just doing jobs now. I was looking for people that could mentor me, but not mentorship from me. Please mentor me. But mention I'm working. I'm doing your work. If you don't mentor me, it's your work that will suffer, right? So yes, but I knew that the moment I crossed that job what am I saying? After that job, I stayed at home for another 8 months before I finally got the next job. So it means that it's very easy for me to come out and say, 10 years after NYSC, I had a goal. And I moved from intern to director to head of department in less than 7 years. It's a sweet statement to say, but it will make people think that it was just me stacking things. No, there were challenges. There were times that I applied for jobs and they told me that So I remember one job I was applying for, my first transition into L&D. I went for the job. The HR told me you're just a trainer. Said, this job is not for you, that you cannot do that. You're just a trainer. And I'm like, is it not true? He said, no, L&D is different. And you've just demonstrated to me that you don't know. So that was a challenge. And it came from a not so nice HR, a nice HR, now that I think about it. And
She was being truthful. At least she gave you feedback.
Imagine I was angry with that feedback and I didn't take that feedback to say, okay, so for this role, I need to learn more things. And then I had to go learn those things. And now, when I applied for another L&D job, I got it. Because now I'd learned, right? So those are challenges. My major challenge has been the gaps of skills and knowledge that I did not have for certain opportunities that came my way. But missing those opportunities taught me how to be resilient enough to learn from them and not to be angry with the people that said no to me.
Wow. I think I just want to divert a bit before asking like the final question.
Okay.
Would you say that like your environment, well, I won't call it environment, like determination, for example, you mentioned something that you wanted a better life, right?
Yeah.
And how did that shape you into, your pursuit of being like the person that you are today?
Very valid question. So I lost my dad when I was on IT, 2014. So it was an eye-opener. Because prior to that time, I was a sports kid.
See, I can relate. Forget.
I was a
Let's
sport
continue.
kid. When I mean sport, not sport, but like
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about my future. There was daddy, there was money, there was support. If I wanted a phone, they got it. I remember, to show how sport I was, between GSS, what am I saying, GS? No, between year 2 and possibly year 5, no, year 2 and year 4, they bought me like 3 different laptops. Because I was just misplacing it, or they were just stealing. I was being careless. So that's the kind of sport I meant. I didn't understand the value for things. But when he died, and I realized that you are the first child, the first son, the only son, and you have 2 sisters and a mother, reality dawned on me. And then I could see the difference when the breadwinner died, because now I could see, dang, we used to eat 2 chickens before, now it's a jakika. You get, so that reality became a thing for me, that I want a life that is even better than the one that I had before. And that sort of just propelled me. So I started doing things that my peers were not doing. I started thinking of things that my peers were not thinking about, because the pressure was just crazy. I had 2 sisters, I had a mother. I had to grow up fast. I had to be father to the 2 sisters, elder brother to the one that followed me. I had to be husband to my mother. You know, it was a crazy place to be, but I'm glad that it shaped me. It has made me a better person.
Yeah, it's evident. And I think my final question is, what advice would you give to young professionals that are starting up? There are people that are starting up, people that are currently in that space already, not necessarily L&D, and finally people that, they're just like living. You get?
There's one advice that has stuck with me. It came to me last year, and it's not even just an advice for everybody. It's advice I tell myself every day, and I like to share it. Become a person that knows how to get stuff done. That is the simple advice. Whatever level that you are, junior, senior, intermediate, retiree, whatever it is you're doing, become a person that knows how to get stuff done. Because it is people that know how to get stuff done that matter in life. Doors open for those kind of people. If I am guaranteed that you know how to figure things, everything is figure outable. And if I can beat my chest and say, Abiola can figure things out, whether it's commerce, whether it's accounting, whether it is ministry, whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be your niche. But if I give it to you and I give you 5 days, you shall find something to say and not embarrass me. You are a global talent. Because it means you can walk in anywhere and tell them, give me 1 month. And come back after 1 month and see whether I would not have learned something to do. So that's the biggest advice I give people.
That's nice. I can't believe that we are ending this, but really it was nice having you here.
It's good to be here.
And it's nice to hear your journey.
Yeah.
And
to share it more.
Yeah. No, you need to watch it, right? If you just scroll it again, just go back and watch it again.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.